So if you like books like I do, or reading once in a while, then we share one thing in common. And today we are going to go through Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. It's a book about change, giving a story through two mice and two little people. Let's go through with Sniff, Scary, Hem, and Ho and see how the story can apply to you. So Sniff and Scary were the mice. Hem and Ho, the little people. They are all living in a maze of cheese. What they eat is cheese. So what happened was, Sniff and Scary, Hem and Ho, they all found cheese. But remember, Sniff and Scary were not so complicated or over analyzing. So Sniff would sniff, Scary would run before him, then Sniff would hurry behind him, and then they would go to the cheese. But for Hem and Ho, they would overanalyze, think through things, put in their emotions, then it would take time before they make their decision. So when they found this big pile of cheese, Sniff and Scary would always go check, is the cheese okay? Is it reducing? What's the quantity? Then Hem and Ho, they got comfortable that there is a lot of cheese. So they would never even check. They even forgot where their running shoes were. They were just comfortable. They were waking up late, walking slowly. After all, the cheese will be there, So eventually the cheese, it had to end. So when it was over, Sniff and Scary came and said, oh, the cheese is over, and whatever is left is just moldy. So quickly, Sniff, Scary, they went. But for him, when they came, they just got annoyed. They started asking who took our cheese. They forgot they're the ones who ate it, yeah? Who took our cheese? They were not prepared. They were just confused. What did they do? And they really took time discussing and thinking and worrying rather than making the decision. In the meantime, Sniff and Scary had already found new cheese. Eventually, Ho got hungry enough and decided, no, I'm not going to die here waiting for cheese. No, he decided he'll go by himself into the maze, get lost, but find cheese. So Hem did not agree. He decided, let me just stay. Maybe the cheese will come. I don't want to get lost. I don't want to make a mistake and make the wrong turn in the maze. So Ho went. Sometimes he was scared. He would go and find places with no cheese. Other times he would go and find a little bit of cheese. But eventually he got to the mice, and he also got to enjoy the big pile of cheese. All this time, Hem, they never saw him. So they were just hoping, hope he's okay. But then, what is the lesson now with this story? Because that is the important part for every book that you read, yeah? Now, the thing is, cheese is the goal. Whatever is important to you, that is the cheese. Number two, you must remember there is no cheese everywhere. It just depends on whether you are willing to go get it. There is new cheese. But because of your current situation, you most likely will be comfortable and say, but there's no cheese out there. But there's new cheese everywhere. Number three, the lesson is from the mice, Sniff and Scary. They were aware of the situation. They could see the change good enough, and then they just got with the program, really, and they took action immediately and went where they had to go. For the lesson from Ho was that despite the fact that he made the mistake of not being observant, not making the decision quickly, he got to a point where he laughed at himself and said, even I have been a joker for real. This has been my mistake, and it's okay, I made my mistake, but now what do I need to do? He made the decision to go get new cheese. But for him, maybe even he died waiting for the cheese, yeah? So the thing is, sometimes we are not even aware that it is fear that is holding us back. We won't go after our dreams. We will stay in the same job. We won't go for a new course. We won't go to new places. We won't go to a party that we don't know anyone. Afraid. You're afraid. Your fear is crippling you, not because there are no opportunities out there, just because you're afraid of the unknown. So you can imagine Hem and Ho, they didn't even know where they had put their running shoes. And I think that's the thing. If you get too comfortable and change comes, then it becomes even harder for you to catch up with competition or to get to that new place, because you forgot. You put all your skills aside, you never sharpened yourself. So when change comes, you just have a lot more to do than you would do if you were prepared before. So that's generally the book. And for me, I think there's an area of fear that I'm really, really trying to conquer. I'm really not good at going to new places by myself, but that is a goal I have. I need to overcome that and just drive somewhere. But I think it just frightens me, like driving somewhere by myself. It frightens me. So that is something I'm trying to overcome, because I've never driven somewhere by myself and encountered any form of danger or difficulty. So I know that is one of the major things that I need to overcome. And swimming and bike riding. You can imagine, I cannot swim, I cannot ride a bike. So in the spirit of the Who Moved My Cheese book, I need to overcome my fear in those three things: swimming, riding a bike, and visiting new places by myself. I find that difficult. Like now driving from my place to I don't know where, but to Samburu by myself, that I find difficult. So what are your areas of change that you're afraid of? Are you more of a sniff and scurry? You're more of Hem and Ho, who's take time to change? It is good to know where in the 4 characters you lie, so that you can then be able to take the necessary action to change, because change is inevitable. So I hope you enjoyed our first session on, let's read together. Thank you for being with me, and don't forget to comment, to like, and to subscribe. Thank you.